Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Multicultural Issues and Mental Health Counseling. I am your instructor for this term, Dr. Natalie Spencer Gwynn, and I just wanted to make this quick video just to welcome you to the course. Hopefully, everyone, you've settled into this week and you've had an opportunity to review our course room on Blackboard Ultra. I actually have it up. I'm sharing my screen just so that you can see a little bit more, and I can just go through a little bit of some important things that I want to highlight for the course. But just to give you a quick introduction, if you haven't done so already, make sure that you go in and you review our week one, which I'm clicking on here, module, and you'll see right at the beginning, we want you to go ahead and meet your fellow classmates. So just go in and just pop in there and just introduce yourself to everyone. And if you don't mind, just answer some of these questions. If you have no idea what you want to share, if you don't want to share anything personally, just share with us, or me in particular, what you would like to get from this class or learn. What are some strategies that you employ to be successful in your schoolwork? These are always great tips to share. Maybe your peers can learn something from you. And then also, why is your education a priority? So often we put others' needs and wants before ours. And this question is just really focused on you. Why is your education a priority for you, and what are some things that you want us to know about you? So thank you so much to those of you who've already gone in and shared a little bit about yourself. I'll just highlight my get to know you video, or a little, not video, poster that I made. But I just want to let you know that once again, my name is Natalie Spencer Gwynn. I currently live in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So that means I'm on the Eastern time zone. I am graduated from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, where I earned my BA in English and my master's degree in school counseling. And then in 2012, I earned my doctorate or PhD in counselor education supervision from North Carolina State. So I am truly a North Carolina girl at heart. My background is in school counseling, in particular high school counseling, but I'm also a licensed clinical mental health counselor in the state of North Carolina. And I have enjoyed working with a wide variety of clients in the past, from young children to adults, on a variety of issues ranging from anxiety to depression, school anxiety, grief and loss. And most recently, I've been doing some work with mothers, as I too am a mother, as you can see here. I have 3 children. I have a 2.5-year-old and also 8-month-old, almost 9-month-old twins. So I have to keep updating that as far as how old they are. So needless to say, I'm very, very busy with my family life, but I also want to make sure that I am focused on um, creating a classroom experience that is rich for you all. So please don't reach out to contact me. You'll see that I listed my cell phone here, and also email is the best contact for me. So just make sure that you're able to email me if you have any questions. So that's just a little bit more about me. I'm not going to go into too many details there. I just want to jump back into the class and just open up the syllabus here, just so that we can highlight some major things, because this class might be a little bit different or might be similar to some of the other classes that you've had, and that there is a group project. But the group project, which is a case study, is not is due in week 5. So that's something that I just want to make sure that you are keeping on the forefront. If you've gone in, you'll see that I've already assigned you to your groups. So please take advantage of Blackboard Collaborate if you'd like to use that in order to meet with your groups virtually. There are other options as well, from Zoom to Google to any other, group messaging application or website that you'll like to use, please make sure that you are communicating with your peers. And I will assign you all a case study as we move further along in the term. So just make sure that you are familiar with the syllabus. Your textbook for this course will include the Culturally Alert Counseling, or Culturally Alert Counseling, and that is a comprehensive introduction. So that is the 3rd edition by McGuffey. So just make sure that you are using the right version of our textbook. So for our schedule, please note that assignments are due on Monday. And then initial discussion posts are due on Thursday, and you are required to respond, have 2 required responses that are due by Monday. I definitely recommend that you stay engaged throughout the course. So even though your initial post is due Thursday, and then technically your responses are Monday, please make sure that you are staying actively involved, because we want to make sure that we're keeping those discussions and conversations going in our course room. You'll see that from the actual schedule, the course is broken down into 6 short weeks. And with it being such a short amount of time, there's a great amount of energy that we're cramming into this course, especially for one that's dealing with such a heavy, rich topic such as multicultural issues. This course could probably last a whole year, 16, 17, 18 weeks if we really designed it that way. But just go over the highlights here. Week 1 is just an overview of multicultural counseling. Week 2, we are exploring individual lifespan and lifestyle from a cultural perspective. Week 3, we're really looking at your personal growth and your multicultural competency, especially as we think about your life experiences. Week 4, we're thinking about perspectives and experiences. 5, we're really starting to dive into the counseling issues, and we're thinking about the multicultural counselor and social justice competencies, which are really, really important, and also ethical considerations. And then we're going to wrap everything up by really thinking about competent interventions, and how we can use those interventions to work with the diverse populations and diverse clients. You'll see that throughout the course, that there are university resources that you'll find in the course room. And then there are also concept checks that we have. So just make sure that you are, I guess they're kind of like little quizzes, that you're paying attention to those, and that they're just a check for you. In addition, for week 2, you will do the implicit biases test. So there's a link just so that you know how to find that. And then you'll see there's some papers and there's some reflections. We have that cultural plunge reflection that I'll talk about. And then there's the summative assessment, which is your advocacy project. So if we just go through and we start to look at the different assignments, and the assignments are in addition to your weekly discussion post as well. So if we start to look at the papers that and the assignments that we have coming up, you'll see week 1, there's the history of the counseling profession, which I think is pretty self-explanatory with that assignment. And I'll go through these assignments a little bit more throughout the week as we get to these certain weeks here. Week 2, this is where you're going to take those implicit biases tests. So like I said, I'm in the student version, so I'm not in my I am not in my view here. I'm trying to see if I can get this to come up so I can see the instructions here, the details. I don't think I can see the details here with this view. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry about that. So with this particular implicit bias section, you will go to the project implicit, and then you'll take one of the particular you'll take 4 of the implicit association tests. And so this is associated with the Harvard implicit bias test. So some of you might have already completed these tests in the past, but you'll just select 4 and then you'll complete your test. And then you're going to write a 350 to 525 just word reflection based on your experiences taking that particular assessment or particular test. You are to cite a minimum of 2 sources, with one of those being the actual project implicit bias test website. For week 3, as I mentioned, I will go over these assignments a little bit more as we get closer to these particular assignments. This is where you're going to do a cultural plunge. And this can be, a little bit of a fun assignment. So just make sure that you're thinking about what you want to do. So for this particular assignment, what you're going to do is you're going to choose one of the following ways to investigate a culture that is different from your own. So you're going to watch at least 30 minutes of a documentary or other non-fictional video that realistically portrays individuals with a different ethnicity, sexual orientation, social class, religion, other self-identified culture than yours. Or you can choose to interview someone who is culturally different from you and inquire about their values, practices of their particular culture group. And there's several movies or several documentaries that are out there that you can watch, especially if we're looking at any type of documentaries that are available. I will provide you with a list of some that you can choose from. And then also you might know someone that you might want to interview. So the second part of the cultural plunge is really writing it up. So you're just going to write up a 700 to probably around 1,000 word reflection of the insights you gained during your investigation. And here's just some observations that you'll just need to consider as you write your paper here that we have listed. And then also you're going to think about that experience from a counseling perspective as well. With this, you just want to make sure that you cite any resources that you use. Definitely cite the documentary that you watch, and you can even cite the individual that you interview. If you do not want to reveal the person's name, you can use a pseudonym, or you can just come up with a name, or you can just use the initials or anything that you would like to do. For week 4, we are moving right on along. Once again, you have your assessment. And this week, you're going to do a genogram. If you've never been able to do a genogram before in the past, that's where you look at your own family history. So you're going to download this particular analysis or instructions as how to use and develop an ethnic genogram. And then you're going to do a genogram based on your family. So look at maybe your family history. This is where you might want to go back and maybe interview or talk to some of the older members in your family, or just have a conversation with your guardians, mother, father, aunt, uncles, cousins, or extended family members if they're in the area, if they're not in the area. And this is really a way for you to identify the racial or ethnic characteristics and the changing worldviews of your family over 3 to 4 generations, if you're able to do 3 to 4 generations. Now, some of you all, you might not can go back that far. You might not have relatives that are living, but just do it as far back as you can, even if it's with your parents. I know my parents grew up right around that civil rights movement. So they definitely have had some changing views as they've been able to see how things might have gotten better in terms of race relations, and also how things are still in need of some work, and also both my parents are from the South. So there are a lot of different things that I can go back and even just talk to my immediate family, my mother and my father, because my grandparents are passed away, and just get more information about their backgrounds. So do it as far back as you can. If you aren't able to go back 3 to 4 generations, just do the best that you can, because I do know that that can be a little bit difficult for some people. Week 5, we are moving into more of the counseling perspective when it comes to multiculturalism and diversity. So with week 5, for this particular assignment, this is where you are going to get ready to do your case study. So this is where you will actually meet with your group, and I'll talk a little bit more about that over the next few weeks. But then you're also going to have your concept check, your little quiz that you're going to do during that time. And then for week 6, this is where you're going to do your advocacy project. I just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about that. And this is where you are going to assume that you are a mental health counselor, and you're going to help your agency develop a program that's specific to a cultural population. So whether it's African American, LGBTQ, trans population, Hispanic, Native American, Asian Pacific Islander population. So your agency, they're really interested in providing mental health counseling services to members of that community, but it's just foreign to their staff. So before you start seeing the clients at this particular agency, you decide to conduct a cultural study of this particular population. So for this assignment, you will be tasked with sharing your cultural findings with your colleagues, and your ultimate goal is to provide culturally responsive mental health counseling services in the community. So what are you going to do? You're going to research the population through academic peer-reviewed studies. So note that part of your research can either observe a population, or you can interview members of this particular population or service providers, or you can even talk to an agency that's providing particular services for this particular population. For example, if you are interested in helping your agency develop practices to help African American males, you might find a practice in your area that specifically reaches out and focuses on counseling and therapy and mental health services for African American males. And this is the same for members of the LGBTQ population, members of other ethnic groups or cultural groups. You might find agencies that focus on those specific groups in particular. So you may use a template that we have provided here, but you can definitely make your own, or you can definitely click on that if you'd like to see it. But what you're going to do is you're going to create a 10 to 15 slide Microsoft PowerPoint presentation with detailed speaker notes, or you can do audio narration. So just make sure that you put those speaker notes in there so that I can read those. And then you're also going to do a 3 to 5 minute video with a transcript of the actual presentation. So you're just going to create the presentation, and then you're going to actually just do a quick little video. So what you're going to do with the PowerPoint and the video, you just need to present the information. You explain how studying this population will help you understand more about culture and multicultural counseling competencies, and then just summarize any social structure, beliefs, values, spoken languages. And I'm not going to go and read through all of these because, like I said, I give you a little bit more details as we go along in the term. But this is something I want you to start to think about now, because you might be able to do both of these. If you do your cultural plunge with a particular member from a cultural group, you can even use that as part of your research for doing your advocacy project. But we'll talk about that a little bit later, in addition to your case study, because I don't want to make this video way too long, because this is just really an introduction. But the first thing I want you to do is just to go in and introduce yourself to everyone, and then just get started with our week 1 discussion. I'll come back on next week and we'll do another little video just to introduce you to week 2, and also just go over some of the grading and just also any other housekeeping questions that you might have. And if you come up with any questions, please post those in the course questions section. Obviously, no one has posted in here yet, But if there are any questions about any of the assignments, please go ahead and post those, or group projects or the group case study members. You can post that there. Also, I just want to put this out here. Life happens. We are still in the whole era of COVID. We're still even trying to battle monkeypox now. And who knows what other condition is going to come up that we need to make sure we protect ourselves from. Please, 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 if you're experiencing any difficulties throughout this term, even though it's a very short 6 weeks, please let me know as soon as possible so that I can offer you any resources or help you with anything. And also, if there's any part of any assignment that you need further clarification on, please reach out. Like I said, email is the best way, but I also included my cell phone number if you'd like to call me. Once again, I am on the Eastern time zone, so just please make sure that you're aware of that and that you're aware of my response time if you're in a different time zone. But for now, I am looking forward to getting to know everyone a little bit more online. And I hope that you can learn from each other. You can learn from the experiences that we've got set out for you in this class. I've always enjoyed doing cultural explorations, cultural plunges, reviewing documentaries, and just learning more about different cultures from a wide variety of perspectives. So I hope that you're able to gain a lot of information from this particular course and we're able to learn from each other. So with that being said, I'll see you online.